Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing some technical analysis on Bitcoin, some altcoins, and the cryptocurrency markets. Because guys, in the last 24 to 48 hours, Bitcoin has done very, very well. As we can see here, there are two nice big green candlesticks that have pushed Bitcoin above several levels of resistance. Bitcoin in the last 48 hours has broken about 6 very important levels of resistance. That is kind of exciting me, guys, because it looks like Bitcoin is having a turnaround, and it looks like Bitcoin could be gearing up to go into a bull run. With that said, for the next couple of days, I think Bitcoin's going to flag out up here and go sideways a little bit for some reasons I'm going to be laying out in today's video. And I think the valuation that comes out of Bitcoin from that is going to be moving into the altcoins. And I think the altcoins are about to have their day. But that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, definitely consider dropping a like, hitting that subscribe button, and smashing the notification bell, because guys, we do cryptocurrency videos every single day here, and I wouldn't want you to miss one of them. So let's get right into it. Bitcoin, like we said, is currently trading around $8,200. Currently, it's breaching support at $8,200. As we can see here, it's trading around $8,197. I'd like to see Bitcoin hold at $8,000 or $8,200. If we don't, it's okay if it pulls back here to $8,000. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But right now, I want to do a little bit of a market cap on CoinMarketCap. Bitcoin is still up about 0.8% in the last 24 hours. If we refresh, that's going to be down a little bit, about 0.8%. As we can see here, the rest of the cryptocurrency market is kind of neutral. We have some gainers, we have some losers. I think the altcoins are going to be doing very well over the next week for reasons that I'm going to be showing you in today's video. But if we sort by change over 24 hours, we see some good gainers, and we also see some pretty good losers. It's, like I said, a pretty neutral day, depending on what cryptocurrency you're looking at. Bitcoin has a market capitalization of about $140 billion. We're $40 billion over that $100 billion market capitalization level of support that I was talking about being so important. It's good to see that. Bitcoin's daily volume is hovering around $6.5 billion. That was up around $8 or $9 billion in daily volume yesterday when Bitcoin was initially running up here to around $8,500. As we can see here, Bitcoin is actually starting to breach support at $8,200. I wasn't very confident in that level. That's kind of what I expected. I hope that Bitcoin is able to stay above $8,000. That's an important level as well. But as we can see here, Ethereum is also having good volume with about $2 billion in volume. EOS has over $1 billion in volume again, and Tether has like $4 billion in volume. Tether's volume has spiked in the last couple of days, probably because a lot of people were trading Bitcoin over Tether. If I were to guess, that's probably why Tether has spiked so much. You have people doing a bunch of leverage trading on Bitcoin, and to do that, you have to cash it out somewhere, and a lot of people cash it out into Tether. But that being said, let's go ahead and talk about Bitcoin's dominance, because Bitcoin's dominance is something that is very important. One thing that we noticed, and one thing that you can point out from the actual bear market, or excuse me, the end of the bull market in 2017, was this. See how when Bitcoin had a little recent high in dominance, up here around 63%, back here on December 11th, let's go back on the chart on Bitcoin and see what represented December 11th. Let's see where Bitcoin was on December 11th. Well, December 11th was right here. Bitcoin was up here close to all-time high on December 11th, up here around $17,000. So what this means is that Bitcoin's high in dominance actually correlated with its all-time high in price action. And then after it fell off for about a month, down here around January 14th, when it hit its bottom down here, around 33%. If we come over to the Ethereum chart, what we're going to see is that that is right around the time that Ethereum hit all-time high, up here around $1,400. So what we saw is that Bitcoin's dominance had a direct correlation with its price action, as opposed to kind of the inverse correlation that we've had here in most of 2017. And what we've seen over the last couple of weeks is that Bitcoin has been gaining dominance down here from around 42.5% all the way up to around 47%. And what I think is going to happen now is that that is probably not in the same drastic fashion that happened in the early part of the year, but in a similar fashion, Bitcoin is going to lose some of that dominance to the altcoins, and coins like Ethereum are going to do very well. We're going to be covering the altcoins after we do a little bit of TA on the video, but keep that in mind, because market dominance for Bitcoin is very important, and I think that is going to show that the altcoins are going to do very well here in the second part of 2018. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of TA on Bitcoin, because there is some things I didn't manage to cover in yesterday's video. If you guys want a full breakdown of this little breakout that Bitcoin has seen in the last 24 to 48 hours, you can click the video on the top right. We go over all the different levels of resistance that Bitcoin has hit. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and cover some of them, because some of them are so important, they need to be stated twice. One of them is, of course, the long-term downtrend in the descending triangle pattern that Bitcoin was under, that being that downtrend right there. That was a very important piece of market structure, because it was kind of just, it was just pushing Bitcoin down. It was holding it down. And a lot of people looked at it as this like impenetrable barrier that Bitcoin could never get above. And a lot of people on the flip side also thought of it as, look, if we can get above this, it's going to be really good. And that's exactly what we saw. Bitcoin jumped like 6 or 7, 8% yesterday because we got above that level, and also because we got above recent resistance over here at 7,700. But I think this downtrend was a much more important factor to that. And also that downtrend constituted an important piece of market structure, the descending triangle pattern right here. So to see a break of that is very, very good indeed. One thing that does concern me a little bit, but not actually that much, is that we're a little overextended on the RSI right over here. That doesn't concern me that much because back over here in the second part of 2017 when we were on a run, we basically spent all of our time up here above 70 on the RSI, so that's not that concerning, but at the same time, it's something that we don't want to see get out of hand because it could hamper a future rally and a future bull run. With that said, let's go ahead and look at the weekly chart because there's another important indicator we want to look at, that being the 20 weekly exponential moving average. I know if you saw yesterday's video, I'm covering the same things. We're going to get on to some other things. I just want to set the stage with Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin did also break the 20 weekly exponential moving average right here. That's an important moving average. We did get above that, and if we can stay above that and stay up there for a couple of weeks and actually confirm a breakout of that instead of a little false breakout like we saw over here, if we can confirm a breakout of that, that's going to be very, very powerful, and that's going to be a very strong signal that a Bitcoin bull run is coming. And guys, if you want a better breakdown of why that's such an important moving average, I have a video up here in the top right. I think it's titled like 3 signs that you can use to determine when a Bitcoin bull run is happening. This is one of them. A break above the 20 weekly exponential moving average, as we saw back here in 2015, right there, signals the beginning of a bull run a lot of times in Bitcoin. So to see a break above that is very good. If we can see a confirmed break above that, that's going to be equally good and actually even more good. So that's not a word, more good, but either way, we're going to use it. If we come out here to the log scale, I want to show you something else on the log scale that someone actually pointed out in the comment section. I don't use the log scale that much, and if you guys aren't familiar with the log scale, essentially what it does is it rescales Bitcoin so that the differences between price levels are based on percentages rather than direct linear differences. As we could see up here, the distance between 21,000 and 19,000 is about the same as the distance between like 250 and 300 down here because it's adjusted based on percentages, and if you zoom out, the chart looks kind of funny like this. That's just because we're on a logarithm scale. But if you look at the log scale, because some people do technical analysis on the log scale, I don't personally, simply because most people don't, and since most people aren't doing TA on the log scale, most trading volume isn't respecting the log scale. But nevertheless, we want to look at this. Bitcoin was also under a downtrend on the log scale, as we could see right here. And yesterday we did manage to get above it, and right now we're coming down to retrace and get a little bit of support on it down here around $8,200. That's why when I said earlier on in the video, I would like to see Bitcoin stay above $8,200 because that would mean that we have still confirmed the break above this downtrend on the log scale. If we get back below that, that's not the end of the world though. I don't put a lot of weight on that downtrend simply because it's on the log scale. I naturally put anything on the auto scale as being more powerful than anything on the log scale, simply because more people use the auto scale, the linear scale, which is what we're now on right now, the chart that you're more familiar with. But with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the altcoins. Guys, recently I actually took a position in Ethereum and EOS, and in today's video I'm going to be doing some technical analysis on those two coins and giving you kind of an overview of why I did that. And I'm also going to be doing some TA on several other altcoins that I think you guys might be interested in. So let's go ahead and do that. One interesting thing on the Ethereum over US dollar chart right now is that it is actually above its 20 daily exponential moving average. That's the only moving average you see on your screen before you. Yesterday we managed to get above it, and we're currently coming down to get support on it, and hopefully we can stay above that because we've talked about this moving average a lot on the channel. Some people wonder why I use this moving average, and it's for this reason right here. It's because typically when Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, when the cryptocurrency market is above this level, when it's above this moving average, it's on a rally. When it's below it, it's in a downtrend. And it's a very powerful kind of directional indicator. It's a very powerful, well, it's an indicator of which direction the market is going. And when you're above it, typically it signals bullish action, and when you're below it, typically it signals bearish action, even on the weekly chart as well as on the daily chart and on the hourly chart. In fact, it's a very powerful moving average that I highly recommend you guys use. And like I said, when you get above it, it's typically a bullish sign. So I would like to see Bitcoin Ethereum stay above this moving average. And if we turn our simple moving averages on, we also see that Ethereum is under its 50 daily simple moving average right here. That's this red line right here. If we could see Ethereum get a break above this and stay above its 20 daily exponential moving average, I think we're going to see very good things for Ethereum. And like I said earlier on in the video, now that Bitcoin has had a nice little run up, it's kind of topped out up here around 8,200, 8,500. I think some of the valuation that was in Bitcoin is going to start moving into altcoins, which are currently undervalued. I know my valuation has moved from Bitcoin into the altcoins. I was expecting Bitcoin to jump up here to around $8,000 to $9,000, and that was going to move my valuation into the altcoins, and that's exactly what I've done. I moved my valuation partially into Ethereum, partially into EOS, and of course into some other coins as well. But like I said, I'm telling you guys what I'm doing. I'm not telling you to go do that. I'm going to show you why I'm doing that, but I'm not telling you to go do that. But actually, the Ethereum over US dollar chart isn't why I put my valuation in Ethereum. It's actually on the Ethereum over BTC chart, which is why I chose Ethereum as one of my altcoin holds for this little rally that I think is about to come in the altcoins. Now, one thing I want to point out is that this might not happen immediately. This could happen in 2 weeks from now. It could happen in a month from now. I'm not saying that this is going to happen tomorrow necessarily, but I think this is going to happen soon. I think the altcoins are going to have their day soon because they've been getting slaughtered over the last couple of months. Let's be totally honest. I mean, Bitcoin has also, but Bitcoin has had its day. I think it's time for the altcoins now. A big reason why I chose Ethereum is because of this level of support down here around 5,500. Be quiet, phone. Around 5,500, 5,500,000 Satoshis, excuse me. Ethereum has recent support over here. As we can see right here, Ethereum has recent support over here. And right now we're coming down and we're getting very, very close to this level. And also because Bitcoin had topped out, I wanted to move my Bitcoin and take profits out. So I moved it in partially into Ethereum. I moved a lot of it into EOS. You're going to see that in a second. But Ethereum did break bearish out of this falling wedge pattern that it was in. And I think it's going to get support down here around this level of support that we just drew, partially also because we're overextended on the RSI. We're down here around 20 on the RSI, and if we bring Bollinger Bands out, I actually haven't checked Bollinger Bands on Ethereum today, but I guarantee you if we bring Bollinger Bands out, we're going to be overextended on them. Let's go ahead and check. Let's get our Bollinger Bands. And yeah, like I said, we're overextended on Bollinger Bands. We're out here riding the kind of the outside edge of these Bollinger Bands. So I would like to see Ethereum have a little bottom here. And right now, that's kind of what it looks like it's forming down here at this little tiny green candlestick. I would very much like to see Ethereum bottom here, and I think it's going to. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to some altcoins. Let's talk about XRP real quick. I didn't take a position in XRP because I'm not really that bullish on XRP. I'm worried about XRP. Well, I mean, I'm not really that worried about XRP, to be totally honest, because I'm not in XRP. But as far as for the people that are in XRP, I am kind of worried about it. XRP is managing to hold support down here around 45 cents, but the XRP over BTC chart tells a different story. That right there is a very, that's just ugly right there. For the last like 9 days, XRP has just been falling off a cliff. XRP had very strong support down here around 7,000 Satoshis, about 6,900 Satoshis. And over the last week or so, it broke that support, and it's just been falling off a cliff. Now, it looks like it's setting a bottom down here, but I'm just not convinced. It does have previous support over here, or previous resistance to show it as having support right here around 5,200 to 5,500 Satoshis. I'm still just not that bullish on XRP. Now very well may be a good time to buy into XRP, but since it just broke this level of support here that has been a level of support literally for the entire year, I'm not going to take my chances with XRP. There's better options in the market. I'm just not really that bullish on it. Let's move on to Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash is actually doing okay. If we turn on our moving averages again, what we're going to see on the Bitcoin Cash over US dollar chart is that Bitcoin Cash is in kind of a similar position to Ethereum, but it has actually broken its 50-day exponential or its 50-day simple moving average, and it's also gotten support on its 20 daily exponential moving average. Now, guys, I'm not a big fan of Bitcoin Cash as the project, but actually the project and the chart are two completely different things. And the chart right now for Bitcoin Cash is actually looking pretty good. I do like the way the chart looks. If it can stay above this 50-day simple moving average, it's probably going to come up here to this 100-day simple moving average, as I think a lot of the altcoins are going to do over the next month or so. I think the altcoins are going to have their day. We talked about that earlier. Bitcoin Cash over BTC is in kind of a weird position also because it has broken this kind of uptrend that it had as a level of support there. Let's make that a little more neat right there. It has broken that, but you know, I'm more interested on the Bitcoin Cash over US dollar chart here because a lot more people have access to Bitcoin Cash over US dollar trading. I mean, it's on Coinbase. That's a big one. Coinbase has a lot of volume going through it. So I'm not too bullish on the actual chart here on Bitcoin Cash over BTC, but on the US dollar chart, it is looking quite nice. Let's move on to Litecoin here, and then we're going to get on to EOS. We're going to talk about XLM and ADA, and then we're going to wrap the video up after that. Litecoin is in kind of this very similar position to Ethereum. If we zoom in here, I'm going to have to do this because the 200 daily simple up there is messing with me. We see a very similar story to Ethereum as we see on Litecoin right now. If we look on Ethereum over US dollar, as we can see, we're kind of wedged in between the 50-day simple and the 20 daily exponential. And right now we're seeing the exact same thing on Litecoin over US dollar. It's almost the same chart, guys. You guys can see that with your own eyes. I'm kind of bullish on Litecoin right now, guys. I'm just not as thrilled with Litecoin as I used to be, simply because I've really come to accept the fact that there are so many technologies that are much better than Litecoin. And the same can be said for Bitcoin, but Bitcoin has this kind of reverence around it that Litecoin simply doesn't. Litecoin is just an altcoin. Bitcoin is king, okay? It doesn't matter what Bitcoin's technology is in the short term, because people realize that, okay, Bitcoin may be slow, it may be outdated, but it has a lot more development going on, and there's a lot more people interested in it simply because it has 50% market dominance. Litecoin doesn't have that luxury, and Litecoin does kind of concern me because its technology is outdated. And what it's doing is simply, it's just not as good at sending transactions as some other altcoins are. And even as far as Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash might be, well, maybe not Bitcoin Cash, but as far as Bitcoin is with Lightning Network. Now, I know Lightning Network's moving to Litecoin, but you guys get my point. I'm not as bullish on Litecoin as I used to be. With that said, though, Litecoin is looking quite nice on its chart. It's up here in the same position that Ethereum is on its Ethereum over US dollar chart. It's above its 20 daily exponential moving average and below its 50 daily simple moving average. If we can get above this 50-day simple moving average, I think good things are going to come to Litecoin in the same manner that may come to Ethereum. Let's talk about the actual non-moving average related things here. Ethereum, Litecoin has been under a downtrend for pretty much the entire year here. We had our pivot point up here, our pivot point right there, and we had a set point right there. It's kind of a weird trend line because you would expect there to be a touch right in here to kind of make it a little bit more of a solid trend line, but it is definitely a trend line. And Litecoin actually did break it yesterday, and after it broke it, it had a very nice green candlestick, which also coincided with Bitcoin having a nice big green candlestick. So that's a good thing to see. One thing that kind of similar to XRP that concerns me about Litecoin is that it has broken key support up here at $109. It set a new double bottom down here, but I mean, it had like a quintuple bottom right here that it broke. So I'm just not very bullish on Litecoin simply because it's come down here and broken such an important level of support. It managed to establish that level of support. If it was going to establish that, I was hoping it would hold it, because this level right here, $109, was a very important piece of market structure for Litecoin. And unfortunately, we're back below it now. Litecoin over BTC is really just not looking good. It's in a similar boat to Ethereum. It's just been jumping off a cliff after it fell below 1.5 million Satoshis over here. It's just trying to find a bottom. It's basically in free fall right now. You could say that we're going to end up getting support over here somewhere, like over here on late 2017 highs up here where we got resistance. You could say that we might get support here, and that's a very valid opinion, and I think Litecoin probably will get support in the next couple of weeks and actually be a part of this altcoin cycle I'm talking about. I think that probably is going to happen, and it's probably going to bottom out somewhere around here. I'm just not as convinced on Litecoin as I am on something like EOS, and you guys know I like to take more certain trades whenever I can because there's no reason not to. We're going to move on to just the EOS over BTC chart, because the EOS over BTC chart is very interesting indeed. EOS is currently at a very important level, and this level right here is exactly why I bought into it. That would be this level down here, this uptrend. As you can see, yesterday EOS actually set a bottom down here on this uptrend and has a nice green candlestick right here. Now, to be fair, it does have a nice big wicks coming up out of it, but it does have a little bit of a green candlestick forming right here. And I am very bullish on EOS simply because of this, not simply, but due in major part to this uptrend right here. EOS has been respecting this uptrend that it has formed ever since October. Now, it didn't respect it, but it formed it back in October. As we can see here, Ethereum, why do I keep saying Ethereum? I don't know. EOS made an uptrend back here in late October and early November. Well, actually, most of the part of November and December back over here. We saw this uptrend form right here, and I remember dragging this uptrend out and expecting EOS to get a bottom over here back in March, and that's actually exactly what happened. EOS managed to get a level of support over here and managed to like triple in valuation from its lows over here, where it ran from here all the way up to there. EOS had a very good couple of months there from April to May when Bitcoin was doing all right. EOS was doing exceptionally well. A lot of that was leading up to news of its mainnet launch, which was right around here, which is where that green candlestick came from. But nevertheless, I think EOS is now undervalued, and I think EOS is now at a good place to buy in. Like I said, I'm not telling you guys to buy in. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. Not only is EOS getting support on this important uptrend that it's been under, it's also getting a little bit of support down here by getting overextended and oversold on the RSI. It's down here around 25 on the RSI. I'm liking the way EOS looks. Now, guys, in case you're wondering, my stop loss is right below this uptrend. If it breaks this uptrend and confirms down there for like 6, 12, 24 hours, I'm selling it because if EOS does break this uptrend, I'm getting out of it because that's a really bad sign. But for right now, the risk right now is like maybe 1, 2, 3%. And the reward for this trade is like all the way up to all-time high, guys, because I think EOS is going to do very well in the next little while. I think this is a very good trade in my opinion, which is why a large portion of the Bitcoin I just sold moved into EOS. Let's talk about some moving averages on EOS. We're going to skip XLM because XLM is actually just kind of going crazy right now. We're going to talk about Cardano because that's an interesting one, but we're going to wrap up with that. EOS is currently below all of its trend lines in a similar way to how Bitcoin was about a month ago, and in a similar way to how all of the altcoins are right now. A lot of the altcoins are looking like what Bitcoin looked like a month ago, guys, which is one of the reasons I'm so bullish on the altcoins right now and why I think the altcoins are going to have their day. As you can see, I've talked about several different altcoins that look like they're very close to a bottom, and I think EOS is one of those because of this uptrend and because of some other factors that I haven't covered. I think it's going to come up here and get through these levels of resistance, and I think it's going to do it in a very strong way. On the EOS over US dollar chart, we are also above the 20 daily exponential moving average, which, as I've talked about in previous videos, is a very bullish sign and does make me very excited about it. Let's move on to ADA, and then we're going to wrap the video up. On ADA, on Cardano here, Cardano is a very interesting one, guys. I'm very tempted to take a position in Cardano because Cardano has some extremely powerful support down here at almost exactly 2,000 Satoshis. As you can see here, if we were to just retrace just a little bit more, then Cardano would actually have a nice triple bottom down here. Now, this is kind of close enough where you could call this a triple bottom anyway. I think I'm going to call that a triple bottom, but I would like to see it retrace a little bit more, but, you know, I mean, beggars can't be choosers. That's definitely enough of a triple bottom for me. What I would like to see Cardano do is continue to rally and actually get a bounce down here and get above its 20 daily exponential moving average right here and get above its 50 daily. It's kind of a similar story on all the altcoins, guys. A lot of the altcoins move in a very similar fashion. Cardano is this really interesting chart because it has so many levels of support and resistance that kind of define it. We have this one up here. We have this one right here where we got 2 levels of support and then came up and got resistance. And then we also have literally 5 bottoms down here at 2,000 Satoshis. Cardano does not seem to want to break 2,000 Satoshis. If you like Cardano and you're long on Cardano and you're very happy about the Cardano project and about the ADA project, you might want to consider buying some for the long term right now. I'm not going to tell you to, but I'm going to tell you that you may want to think about it and you may want to go do your own TA and decide on it, because I think Cardano is in a really good long-term buying opportunity. I'm not going to be buying any, at least right now. I may in a little bit. I may change my mind, but for right now, I'm going to leave it where it is. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Tell me in the comments section down below what you think. Do you think Bitcoin is actually about to capitulate a little bit, move over a little bit, maybe pull back to around $8,000, and some of that valuation is going to move into the altcoins for the reasons I've explained in this video? What do you think? I'm very interested to hear your opinion. If you guys are still here, I hope you are, then I think you should definitely come over here and join the Discord server. Guys, we have a great community going on here. Shout out to Mikhail, Crypto Hodlum, and Pulse77. These guys are in the chat quite a lot. We had like 10 or 15 people talking all at once yesterday. It was crazy when Bitcoin was running up. We were doing TA. I mean, the chat is going 24/7 at this point because we have over 800 members. Come on and join in if you haven't already. I'll be sure to try and welcome each and every single one of you individually. I always try to do that. Sometimes I miss you. If I miss you, just do like @CryptoJeb. Hey, you didn't welcome me. Just feel free to yell at me if I forget to welcome you. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, definitely consider dropping a like, hitting that subscribe button, and smashing the notification bell because we do cryptocurrency videos every single day. And like I said, I wouldn't want you to miss any of them. But that's going to do it for this video. Like I already said, I want to thank each and every single one of you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.